Get started now. Visit GoBarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
Life on the big screen, but like I said, I was blown away by his work, and it was fun reliving those memories. And it was just an incredible moment getting to share it with so many people.
Yeah, listen, I'm proud of Josh and for all that he did. Real pleasure to have him here. There's a chance, that he potentially is back here. So
I think he's about to get beaten badly is what's going to happen to Marcus Freeman. And I think he's brilliant. He could have a brilliant, phenomenal career, but he's not going to have a good opener because I think Ohio State is on the same level as Alabama.
Again, another guy that comes in, he just works every day. He's won over his teammates through his work ethic, and, he went out and balled. And another one, we got calls again, people asking what we were going to do, and they're all saying, you guys would be stupid to let him go. And
I do think that they will expect to see something beyond just solid play against teams they should beat. I think there's pressure on him to do something big, pull some kind of upset.
Well, it's been a really long time since we've seen a Pac-12 team playing in a semifinal. It's been almost 6 years. So let's talk about the possibility of that opportunity phasing itself out.
Nick's going to swing, hit it down the right field line, and that ball is gone. A 2-home run night for Nick Prado, and the Royals lead it 4-0. 2-1 Braves. Elauris Montero hits it hard. This time it gets by Riley, diving at third, down into the corner. C.J. Cron's going to be waved in. He will score without a throw.
And welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM, the talk of the town, coming to you live from the Mayo Money Management Studio. I'm going to get used to this. I don't like the profile that I've had here. I don't know if this is any better, but... Woo! Yeah.
I like the back of my head. It works well.
Yeah.
See the back of my head?
Well,
I don't have a bald spot.
No, you don't.
Yeah, so
you don't at all.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome to the show. Steve Webster with you. Mike Hesher in, or Mike Corson and Mike Hesher. Does that bother you at all? I mean, I go from left to right across the screen here, so.
You could mix it up, but he was here before me, and he is the boss.
Man, you're a card, you know that? I mean,
and our reviews are coming up next week.
I was going to say, reviews are coming, so.
Just give me a bad one. Just give me a bad one.
Yeah, not after the broken turkey. Don't think that's going to happen.
Where is the turkey?
It's right over here. And
the gentleman, you sweeped up the.
Trying to get it fixed for you, but I.
Well, why would you need to go on Trading Post and ask how do you glue a
I thought there might be a special
together?
thing because it's ceramic, right?
Yeah. So
I'd use Elmer's and there'd be globs of glue all over the place. And of course, I can't remember the guy's number now, so I'm in trouble. Okay, all right.
Stick a fork in this turkey, fellas. It's done.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah. It came all the way from France.
Sorry.
It's gone.
What's that sound like in French?
Wow.
It broken.
Did you know that Nick Prado was the second Royal ever to hit, 2 home runs in his rookie season?
Are the Royals still playing now?
Okay, there's only 2 rookies in the Royals' history that have done that. Do you know who the other one was?
Lorenzo Cain.
Bo Jackson.
No. He wasn't bad.
He was fairly, yeah.
Long time ago. Okay. On the show today, we've got the double dip of Great Bend Panther football for you. Erin Beck will be in, and he's bringing his starting quarterback, Cayden Scheuerman, in with us today. Huh?
Did we learn how to pronounce that?
I thought you had it settled this morning.
Oh, I go back and forth.
I'm going with Scheuerman until I...
Okay. All right.
Scott Scheuerman was the running back when I was in high school. And it's the same spelling.
You never tell me that. We had that one the other day that said, oh, yeah, my mom works at school, says that's what he's always... Okay.
Has anybody thought about asking Patrick? He is the voice of the Panthers.
I want to ask quarterback's mom.
Okay, well, there you go. That's what I did.
Cayden Scheuerman is going to be in on the show with head coach Erin Beck. You guys got anything else?
I have nothing. No.
Okay, very good. Great Bend cross-country coach Lyles Lashley will be our guest on the program today as well, and we'll be talking Fort Hays State Tiger football with Gerard Wellbrock.
It's Lyles Lashley.
Chewy Loera.
Hey, we'll get there. We're only 2 weeks in.
Chewy Loera. Well, I've said his name for several years now, but I don't know. Are you ready to get started?
Play those clips.
About 3 minutes ago, yeah.
Yeah, sounds of the past 24 hours or so. I was late getting our Friends of the Show segment today on the AM Great Ben show because Mike Corson went 10 minutes on his
Somebody kept asking me questions.
Well, I kept trying to get Kerry Jones in on the discussion, and you just continued to ignore me, even though it was, Jackie Stiles on the program yesterday. You watched the documentary last night.
As soon as I got home. And...
Were you in it?
No, at the very end, they have newspaper clippings about when she had her eye cancer, and I kept thinking maybe I'd pop up. Pretty sure I wrote some stories, but didn't make the cut. I think I'm on the cutting room floor somewhere.
Okay.
They didn't know how to say my name either.
Anyway, good stuff yesterday on Sports Day. Andy Reid talking to the media yesterday, and again, Josh Gordon's gone, but he may be back. I don't know if he wants to be an assistant coach or something. They cut down to the initial 53-man roster yesterday. Chiefs keep 9 of their 10 draft choices. So that's either really good because they got a lot younger with some quality players, or I think it's a good thing. They got a lot younger. I think these guys are going to stick. I'd like the speed they've shown on defense with those new guys. So, yeah, I will take that as a positive.
Maybe a little cheaper, too. Bring in...
That's obvious. Yeah, you got to do that.
So you can bring in one more big hitter?
One more big hitter. Yeah, let's see. What do we got? Isaiah Pacheco. Keep an eye on him. Paul Feinbaum. I love Paul Feinbaum. He just basically, he says what he thinks, and usually it's true. Says he's tired of Notre Dame playing the poor school. They've ranked 5th in the country, and they're Notre Dame. 17.5-point underdogs against Ohio State on Saturday.
But
says they're going to get boat raced.
But doesn't Ohio State always get a little bit more credit than what they deserve?
This year they're supposed to be legit, so I think there's going to be a lot of 17-point spreads.
You're saying that they
always...
Notre Dame's always in the top 5, no matter if they don't even field a team.
Notre Dame?
Yes.
Well, I realize that, but
They got gold helmets, though.
That's all that matters.
So Paul Feinbaum thinks they're going to get boat raced, which probably is the case. And then Oregon at number 3, Georgia, Cincinnati at Arkansas. Those are your games involving ranked teams. Mike McDaniel, Dolphins head coach. You surprised Skylar Thompson made the Dolphins as a backup? That's pretty cool. I wasn't expecting him to.
I would have to agree with you on that one.
They'd signed Teddy Bridgewater. Of course, Denver fans would probably say, well, gosh, if Thompson didn't beat him out, then something was wrong. But Skylar Thompson had a great preseason. Completed 75% of his passes for 450 yards. He's sticking with the Dolphins.
Good for him.
Reese Davis hosted College Game Day on how much pressure Brian Kelly is in. The new coach at LSU. I don't think that's a good fit. We'll see.
Did you ever see the promo videos that he was involved with?
No.
Awkward. He went down there the first week and got his accent already, and he had to stand there while... What a weird introduction to a program.
And LSU had more roster turnover than anyone else in the entire country in the offseason. In fact, when they played K-State, they wanted to get out of that game because they didn't have anybody to play quarterback.
So that's why K-State
wouldn't. Well, K-State played really well, but LSU was...
Well, I mean, they had a roster turnover.
That was like he had a different label on the team. It's the uniform said LSU, but I don't know if what was in the uniforms was LSU. Nick Prado. Good stuff you brought to the show today. He had 2 home runs last night. Royals beat the White Sox by the score of 9-7. And
I used it too early, though. I should have waited, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Eleuris Montero. Something like that. You're out from Colorado. The Rockies came up with a hit last night, scoring C.J. Cron in the top of the 4th inning. That tied the game at 2. Rockies win by the score of 3-2 over the Atlanta Braves, who've now lost 3 straight games. They get close to the Mets, and then they just kind of fall back.
Yeah.
They fault back. 3 games right now separating the two teams.
A little bit of a misnomer on that Royals game. Singer's been hot, owns the White Sox. 4 runs in 5 innings, but it was with 2 outs when Abreu just got a weak base hit and kept the inning going. So he was that close to another shutout performance.
Singer?
Yep.
The dog wouldn't have stopped to take a crap. He would have caught the rabbit. Right? That's why you play the game.
I'm just saying.
That's profoundly my dad. He'd use other language, obviously. Clean it up.
Really? Okay. You clean that up then,
I did clean it up, yes. If it's in Butts or the Candy Nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, sure do. You're going to be at Hayes on Friday, correct?
I'm going to go... Sorry. Yep, watch the Indians play Junction City.
Okay. Any other top matchups you're looking at?
I haven't made it that far.
Okay. Very good. We have high school football chatter coming up. Erin Beck is going to be in. Cayden Scheuerman is going to be in. I think we'll just invite Chewy Loera in just because I learned how to pronounce his name. It's all coming up here on Sports Day here on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
One of the great advantages about online classes is you can take them anywhere. I would sit in my room, still in my robe from waking up, and I just try to focus on my classes. From Barton, I kind of took a range of classes from accounting, history, and I took PE1 and PE2 through Barton. They transferred pretty incredible. It helped save money, and it helped save some time, too. Just to think that you can live really anywhere and take these classes, I think it's pretty cool.
Superior Essex is growing, expanding, thriving, and you have a chance to change the future while changing your future by joining their team. Work in a safe, clean, and climate-controlled workspace. Superior Essex is hiring for multiple positions in production. Earn up to $23 an hour plus a sign-on bonus up to $5,000, plus a competitive benefits package including Blue Cross Blue Shield, Delta Dental, 401k with company match, and vacation and holiday pay. Apply at any Kansas Works office or at superioressex.com.
The Royals continue their series with the White Sox Wednesday.
Lefty brings it in. The breaking ball is hit high in the air, deep left center. Myers going to the wall and gone. Michael A. Taylor got a breaking ball and got it in the air.
It's game 2 of 3 with the White Sox Wednesday. 6:30 pregame on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Rose Baseball brought you in part by Gleason Landscaping, Empire Overhead Door, by Mayo Money Management, the 10th Street Liquor Stop, and by Next-Tech.
It's time to talk Great Bend High School football with head coach Erin Beck here on Sports Day.
Sports Day rolling on here on a Wednesday. No Sports Day tomorrow. That's because we have Royals baseball. So Erin Beck coming in a day early. Appreciate that, Coach. Good to see you.
Yes, thanks for having us on. I had to get Cayden out of business class here. So we were on the hustle getting over here.
Were you sad or happy that you got out of business class today? Yeah, go ahead and pull that mic right down there really, really close. So.
Yeah, I was happy.
So we're getting ready to go. I always say, we're Wednesday, right? So Wednesday's usually kind of you back off a little bit, right, as far as practice goes, but a lot of prep stuff. But
yeah, this week was kind of different just because Monday the heat was so high that we actually ended up putting in black, and we had to go inside for a little bit. So to make up for that extra work day, we'll crank it up and go a little heavier than we usually do on a Wednesday.
So how are you feeling right now, Cayden? Here you go. Getting ready to go? Games on Wednesday? Kind of take me through your thought process as you go for game week.
Yeah, I think we're doing some pretty good things on offense, so I'm ready to go out there and show a lot of people what we've been working for and what we've been preparing for all summer.
You nervous?
A little bit.
Okay, yeah, that's what I always wondered because it's the anxiety leading up to the first play, and then you're always okay. That always, I don't know, it always bugs
you. He's used to 250-pound defensive linemen chasing him and him running for his life. But I think he's more nervous for this interview right now than he is on a Friday night.
Oh no! If he just sticks around and watches us perform here a little bit, you're going to be fine. So, going in your senior season, what's it feel like? I mean, you go in and you start going through. Okay, man, this is it. My last trip through here as a Panther.
Yeah. Well, I'd say preparation-wise, I'm just a lot more comfortable as far as our offense goes and knowing my reads and just our team I'm more confident in than last year. It's a lot better, I'd say.
Talk about the relationship you have with your receivers. I know you work like crazy, off season, throwing to those guys, things like that. How do you develop timing?
Well, you just it comes with practice. Every receiver's different with their speed, how they run their routes, and it's just, Braylon's a lot faster than a lot of guys, so he's going to be out there farther than most of them will, and so you kind of just got to go with practice, really.
See, when my quarterback days, I had a guy, his name was Chris Barnes from Rome, Georgia, and since I was an 8-man quarterback playing, in the KCAC, our pattern was, Chris, just go down there. He was about 6'5". Just go down 8 yards and turn around, and I'll hit you with a pad. It worked every time. But do you have any plays like that where you say, hey, this guy's doing this. Just go down 7 yards and turn around. I'll get you the ball.
Oh yeah, a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of big inside targets that we definitely use that on with guys like Colton, with guys like Ian Premer and some of those bigger, taller receivers that we can almost use them like basketball players and post them up and does a good job of hitting them.
When you hear somebody say the game has slowed down for me, do you get what they're talking about?
Yes, a lot. Especially this summer, going to our Washburn camp, it was just the reads were just coming a lot slower, and you could see how defenses were adjusting to us a lot slower, and it just wasn't just bullets flying everywhere, and you weren't as nervous, and it was just everything slowed down. I'm
always curious because people listening to the show right now, going up there. Okay, Erin, if you can, call in a play to Cayden right now. Just call in a play, and then I'm going to have Cayden take us up to the line of scrimmage and what he's looking at and what's going to happen.
All right, I got a good one because we kept messing it up yesterday.
Okay. Okay, here it comes. Coach Beck on the headphones.
Tan nasty, empty left, F quick, bowing odd.
Okay, so...
Okay, call it in the huddle, man. I've got to hear it.
Okay, so the huddle, I'm just talking to the offensive line, so I'm just going to tell them bowing odd, which is an outside zone play for our receiver. So, I tell them break the huddle, and then we get up there. I'm first looking at the safeties, and then I'm looking at our offensive line, and then I'm making sure everyone's formations is right. And then I make sure our offensive line is set, and then I send our guy in motion, and then just run the play.
What's your first read? Just you take that snap, you first step back. What are you looking at? Still that safety or?
No, that's just a run play.
Oh, it's a run play. Okay.
Toss, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Snap first. That's
snap
big
first.
thing. Yes, absolutely. But we got that one down.
Okay, so coach has called that play, and you come up, and they've just gone into an 8-man front.
Well, that's something I would yell from the sideline.
Okay.
On easy. Yeah. Here we go, and then we check out of it.
It's changed so much. Calling talking to the offensive line. So, talk about how things slow down. That's got to be one of them right there, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Him understanding formations and motions and stuff like that has just helped him tremendously. You can just tell how much more comfortable he is getting that year under his belt, like you said, and not only mentally but physically. Cayden's a kid that put in a ton of work this summer and put on 15, 20 pounds of muscle while keeping that track speed that he showed in the spring. So he's not only going to be able to sling it around to the guys we want, but his feet are something that we will lean heavily on within the quarterback run game, or just get him outside the pocket and making some good reads.
So is that option? Is it just rollouts? Is it being able to if you're a quarterback, you can tuck the ball and run with it? Talk about I think you scored 6 touchdowns last year, so and you ran for over 200 yards. You see that being more this year, Cayden?
Definitely, 100%. Yeah.
And the 200 yards is a little deceptive too, because he has to take sack yards too. So that always.
It's not the NFL, is it?
Yeah. He has to take sack yards. So we'll get that up for him this year, and I think with his reads, when we're talking rollouts and some of our boot action stuff, Coach Wells has done a good job with him understanding reading high to low, and when it's not there, rely on that speed. And then we were talking this morning just in the locker room about the new rule that he gets to be able to throw that thing out of bounds if he doesn't love it. And he was like, really? So that's a new rule that will benefit Cayden tremendously this year.
And that's one that's going to be interesting too. You have a toss sweep that's going out to tell your running backs there's like 4 guys there to dump it because they can do it too.
I don't know. That sounds like an 8-man thing, Webby. I'm not sure we're doing that.
Yeah, it's anyone who's throwing a pass. I know. It's just.
Then you got to worry about a legal man downfield on that one. But with Cayden, with some of our boot stuff, I think we may have to use that sometimes on a first, second down. Eat it. Let's live to see another down. Obviously on third down, we got to go try to get what we can.
34-19, Cayden last year against McPherson, and that was even that score is a little bit deceiving. What do you remember about that game last year against Mac?
So that was my first game like as quarterback where I was like, okay, we can go out here and we can do some good things on offense and we can just kind of move the ball down the field. And after our first drive, we kind of stalled a little bit, and I was a little nervous again. And then we came back and scored, I think, on that next drive, and that was my first ever touchdown varsity-wise. So I was excited, and I was like, we can really hang with these guys. And I mean, yeah, this, like you said, the score was pretty deceiving because I thought it was a really close game.
Do you think that was a light-on moment, maybe a little bit for Cayden, where make a big stride in one particular game?
Absolutely. I think he learned a lot about himself. I think he learned a lot about our receivers, trusting their ability and giving them a chance to make some plays, and did a great job with it. And Mac is one of those teams that I told him on Monday it'll be one of our more physical games. Each year they roll out some big old linemen, and they run some gap scheme with a 6'3", 195-pound tailback. So it is always physical, but our kids rise to the challenge. I love this matchup. I love the rivalry that we've created here with an opponent, an hour away, and getting to open with them. It'll be fun. Coach Pat will have them ready to go. They're well coached and a tough-nosed team, so it'll be a fun Friday night.
Erin, Beck, Cayden Scheuerman with us here on Sports Day today as the Panthers get set to take on McPherson on Friday night. Cayden, talk about the off-season. You're a senior now. Talk about the message that the other seniors and yourself and tried to convey to the rest of the team, that you've got a lot of youngsters on this team. They're going to be strapping it up for the first time in a varsity game on Friday night.
Yeah, so this offseason was a big, we all wanted to be leaders. We all wanted to prove ourselves in the weight room, and I think I got 5 or 6 guys every day in the weight room with me. I mean, we lifted every single day, sometimes twice a day. And then we held a couple player-only practices, so we really wanted to install that hard-working mentality into our youngsters, and then our guys that haven't played varsity much and then are just going to have to step into a big role this year.
Cayden, what makes you feel good about this team? What are some things that you're really excited about?
Our returners on offense. We returned a lot of guys, and our stud receiver, we have some good blocking guys. Our line, strong dudes, tough-nosed dudes, and I'm just excited to really put it all together.
Yeah, again, Wednesday, your feelings about this game with McPherson right now. What are you thinking right now?
I feel really good. I feel confident we can go out there and win the game.
You said that Erin, last week when you were in here, that the mojo was a little bit different in the locker room this year. Does that go back to the seniors a little bit and what
Absolutely.
they were able to do over the summer?
Absolutely, and it starts with this kid right here. Just having that piece that kind of can bring them all together and bring those youngsters along. I had a conversation with him about some of these kids. Like, hey, if they're the best player, we're putting them on the field, and that's what we want to do. We're here to try to win, and we will do it at all costs. And this is a great kid to kind of have leading the charge. And like you said, I think offensively, taking some of those lumps with some young kids, some inexperience in our offensive line is they're really showing some experience right now. And I told some of our guys this morning in weights that I'm really proud of the way our offensive line is playing and coming together. So that's where it all starts in football, and that's where it starts with our team. And I think Cayden would say that he's liking what he's got in front of him right now.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's talk about McPherson a little bit, Erin. And you look at this team; they're usually in the playoffs. It's tough, playing at the level they do. But what they have coming back this year. Let's start with their quarterback, Alford.
Yes, their quarterback. He is a slinger. He is a kid that a little unconventional in the way he throws it, but he puts it where it needs to be put, and They always have some quick little receivers and some guys that can stretch you vertically. They love the mesh routes, the crossing routes. And then like we talked about earlier with the running back, they got 2 back there that they do a little 1-2 punch. The gun kid played a lot for them last year, but now they're turning to their bigger guy, number 7, the 6'3", 195-pound senior. So they like to run some gap schemes and then try to hit you over the top.
And that offensive line you mentioned, they've got a lot of those guys back this year?
Yeah, they returned their 2 starting tackles that are both big boys. Their interior of their D-line and O-line are both a little bit more inexperienced and a little bit more size-wise match up well to us. But, McPherson's one of those teams that we are always glad to see graduation come because they get rid of some of those kids, especially on their D-line. They had 2 DNs that were some of the best we saw all last year. But they're also a school that it seems like they just cycle them back through. And I know that'll kind of be the case, but hopefully our guys with some experience and have seen some of those top DNs in the state in 4A and will come with a little bit more juice this year.
Okay, you said a lot of competition for spots on defense. How's that gone as we're now just a couple days from getting it all started? Yeah, the Jamboree went really well, and some guys really showed out, and I feel good about the rotations we have within our D-line linebackers and secondary to be able to plug and play some guys that are going to maybe need some blows that are playing both ways. So, we kind of look at it as you got 4 guys in the back at secondary. Well, we got about 2 other guys that can get in there with the rotation. Linebackers, you got about 4 of them. We got about 2 more we can plug in. D-line, same thing. So I think defensively, it's going to be make sure we are fresh. This is big boy football, and I've kind of told some of our younger guys, you can't take plays off. If you take plays off defensively, that scoreboard will change like that against a team like McPherson. So understanding the importance of if you need a blow, you got to talk to us, and we will get you out and get somebody in there. So that'll be key versus McPherson. Okay, a couple days out. What's practice look like on a Wednesday right now? I said it's a little bit messed up because of the Monday heat and things like that, but kind of take me through the next couple days. Yeah, you're right. The biggest thing I started going through my notepad is all those special circumstances that you haven't necessarily prepped for the last 2 weeks. The 2-minute drills, the 4-minute drills, the killing of the clock, quarterback sneaker. I mean, just stuff like that you our prevent defense. The flip side of that 2-minute, making sure, understanding, try to keep them in bounds. I mean, just all those special circumstances that you, as a coach, that keep you up at night going, how do we get them all in? So try to start getting those in today and making sure we touch on everything else tomorrow. And, that's got to be a lot easier now because you said I checked my list. You've got that list of those things. You first get into coaching, you're going in there and say, oh, yeah, I forgot to tell them how we're going to line up when we run on the field. Just little things like that you always got to worry about. Yeah, it helps. It helps having some experience and having an experienced staff to kind of help remind me that we need to go over with these kids because sometimes, you take it for granted that you haven't talked about the new rule change of being able to throw that thing out when you're outside the tackle box. So I feel confident in where we're at. We still have some things we need to iron out here, but that's what practice is for, and we get one more chance to watch some practice film tonight with our O-line inside run guys, so we'll get it ironed out and ready to roll. See, it's going to be great. This is the first time all these fans all these years have been going, he's out of the tackle box, and now they'll be actually correct. I know. That was always the one that just killed him. Well, no, he's out of the tackle. No, that's not a rule. I know. It is kind of one of those rules. I remember when I first started head coaching, back in 2016, that rule was kind of like, really? Like, because I was on the defensive side of the ball there for many years. That one and the one we got called for, I was just talking to it back in 2018, we got called for intentional grounding, spiking it from the gun. And they finally changed that rule, so that was another big one that needed to get changed as well. Yeah, okay, so Erin Beck in with us today, also Cayden Scheuerman as he gets ready to go to lead the Panthers in the battle on Friday night at McPherson. When did you start playing football, Cayden?
A couple years of flag, and then I started playing tackle in 4th grade. Okay.
I probably wrapped some of his games down there, so that's when he recognized when I came in. So, yeah, it's that guy. Yeah, he probably did. No kidding. No wonder he's got his glasses on right now. So, just your thoughts going into this game and the senior and maybe some goals that you've set for yourself and the team, Cayden.
Well, team-wise, I want to get over the hump. I mean, obviously win a game, but I don't think just win one game is a good goal. I want to say go over 500 even. I mean, win a playoff game. That'd be a good goal. And then, just individually, I want to be an all-state player, offensively, maybe defensively, and then, all WAC easily, yeah. Okay.
Speaking of the WAC, Erin, what do you think this year?
I always am a believer that you got to knock off the champ before you can kind of restructure that thing. So I think Hayes returns a pretty good strong senior class. And then I know Garden has a pretty good senior class here this year too. But like Cayden said, there's no reason we can't be in the mix with that group. So I'm just ready to get this thing rolling. I know these guys are too, and ready to kind of just show what these guys have put in and all the work they've done. No group is more deserving, like you said, to get over that hump than this one.
Everybody healthy?
For the most part, yes, I think so. I think we're feeling pretty good. We made it out of the Jamboree alive. That's always the part that always makes me a little nervous, going full contact against some teams that you're just not used to. But it's good. We tackle in practice because we want to make sure that a kid like Cayden, when he's running the ball, it's not his first time getting tackled Friday night. I mean, we let him tackle him because he needs to prepare for it.
And that's one of the things that people say, well, you just don't hit as much. Man, tackling, man, that's an art in itself. You got to just hit and wrap. If you just go in there and don't practice it enough. So.
Oh, you're exactly right. These aren't NFL kids. They need to practice tackling. I mean, I know they do at the NFL as well, but they don't as much. They save them a little bit more. But at our level, that's something we have to continue to practice and prep and critique and make sure you're honing your tackling skills.
Okay, Cayden, before I let you go, who's gonna keep the mood light before the game starts?
That's a hard question. I don't know.
Maybe nobody is if they're going to get.
I think our center's sometimes kind of a squirrel ball in Diego, so I think he's the one that keeps it sometimes too light for my liking. But overall, they do a pretty good job of making sure they're locked in.
Cayden, man, thanks for coming in today. Good luck on Friday night. This is going to be great. Erin, okay, feelings right now?
Feeling good. I need to get another practice under our belt, and I'll definitely feel better by tomorrow. But right now, I'm feeling pretty confident in our group and excited to get out there on Friday night.
There's no better time than this time of year. I'm just telling you right now. This is awesome.
I love when we get to turn that page from August to September. Yep. It just is a good feeling.
Here we go. Good luck, guys. Thanks for coming in today on the program. Erin, good luck Friday. Cayden, same to you, man.
All right, thanks, Webby.
Okay, that's Erin Beck, Cayden Scheuerman here on Sports Day. We'll be back with more of the program. Let's see, what are we coming up here? Oh, yeah, it's Lyles Lashley. No, Lyles Lashley coming up on the show next.
If you need physical therapy, consider Advanced Therapy in Great Bend and Progressive Therapy in Larned and Hayes.
I'm Jessica Pauley from Advanced Therapy and Sports Medicine. I am certified in vestibular rehabilitation and concussion, dizziness, balance, vertigo, if you've been having falls, post-concussion. Some conditions only require one treatment session, so come in and see us.
You don't need to hurt. Physical therapy can help. Call Advanced or Progressive Therapy and Sports Medicine to explore your treatment options and get your life back.
The biggest Labor Day celebration is coming. Open your calendar, set a reminder, put it on the refrigerator. Make sure you have Hoisington's annual Labor Day celebration bookmarked Friday, September 2nd through Monday, September 5th. It's the 126th celebration that includes a barbecue competition, live music, downtown street market, the Wii Entertainment Carnival, kids events, demolition derby, and of course the 126th annual Labor Day parade. You won't want to miss it. Head over to HoisingtonKansas.com for a complete list of events and sponsors.
Are you tired of looking at that check engine light on the dash in your big rig? Or worse yet, the bumper of the truck in front of you that you can't get around? Dom Truck Repair has the technicians and diagnostic equipment to take care of the poor fuel economy, low power, and get your truck running like you want it to, with engine tuning capabilities for all makes and models. And as always, they offer complete truck and trailer repair from brakes and axles to engines, transmissions, and clutches. Dom Truck Repair, located on Oil Center Road, Gray Bend.
This is Barton Community College Athletic Director Trevor Rolfs. The Barton Athletic Department is proud to sponsor Sports Day on KVGB, a show that showcases all of our high school student athletes in Central Kansas, some whom will continue their educational and athletic future with us here at Barton. We're excited about the fall sports season that is now underway and invite you to attend a game or a match and experience the rich tradition of Cougar athletics. For complete schedules and results, visit bartonsports.com.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and stop smoking now without cravings, irritability, or weight gain, or your money back.
totally changed my life.
It's amazing. I don't have any cravings. You want to quit, but have found it impossible? This is the thing for you. I have absolutely no craving. It's the darndest thing I have ever seen in my life.
It's not for entertainment. It's for results.
Do it. It works. Period.
You've tried everything else. You need to come and try this.
Only $49.99 guaranteed. Because don't just cut down, but stop smoking. In addition, lose all the weight, 100% guaranteed with Mark Patrick Seminars. Let hypnosis destroy unwanted cravings and lose the weight. That's right. Seminar Sunday, September 25th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Great Bend. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Registration 30 minutes before seminar. Info at markpatrickseminars.com.
Sports Day presents On the Prowl with Mike Corson, an inside look at all the sports taking place at Great Bend High School.
Welcome back to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB, 95.5 FM. Mike Corson. Today we have back for a second time Great Bend High School cross-country coach Lyles Lashley. Coach, last week we talked about the boys. This week we talk about the girls. Yep. This is a team that finished second in 5A, the track state track meet, and then third at the cross-country in last fall. So how many of those kids do you have back?
We have 5 of our top 7 back from last year. So we're excited about that. Obviously, we lost our number 1 in Amelia Diaz, and then we lost Emma Loomis, who was our 6th last year, but she was a big leader for us, just a really good team leader. So between the two of them, we lost a lot, but we got some young ones. They're starting to develop, and we hope they'll fill in those shoes.
And Amelia Diaz was a kid who ran for you for 4 years. Was she maybe your leading scorer all 4?
Yeah, I think she was pretty much our number 1 girl all the way through, except for her freshman year when we had Myra Ramirez. And
then just beyond the points, what's it like to lose a leader that maybe pushes some of the other kids?
It's hard, because you got one that she's always, as a coach, I just had to sit back and just coach. I didn't have to worry about the other stuff, the drama stuff. We don't have a whole lot of drama, but if we did, she took care of it. Emma did. So it was always nice to have that around. So,
and then who is ready to maybe fill those shoes a little bit this year?
I think Eliana Beckham and Addie Nicholson, and then getting Morgan Beckwith back from a sabbatical last year. Those 3 are really good team leaders. And then we have August Siefke, who's our only senior, who's not really in our top 5, but she's a very good leader too. So we're looking forward to those girls stepping up, taking that place.
We're sitting here with Great Bend cross-country coach Lyles Lashley. 5A last year, it was Mill Valley, Aquinas, and then you guys. Any idea how those teams are shaping up this?
Mill Valley graduated the girl that was state champion. They graduated another girl in their top 5, but he's a great coach. Both of those guys are great coaches, and obviously have had great programs. So I expect them to be back at full cylinder. And same thing with Aquinas. Aquinas will be tough. They had a foreign exchange student last year that was their number 1 girl. I think that she was 4th or 5th overall, and they lost her, obviously, and then I think they lost one more, but St. James is going to be very tough, too, because they had 2 girls hurt last year at the state meet, and they were their number 1 and number 2 girl going in, so they'll be in the thick of things, too, so it'll be a good little fight.
Did Hope Jackson finally graduate from Bishop Carroll?
She finally graduated from Bishop Carroll. I couldn't believe it. I thought she was going to be there for 85 years.
We'll get some new blood in there. You guys have a meet coming up. How's the course looking? I know you guys moved to the morning.
Yeah, we're moving to the morning. We did last year, and everybody loved it. Just so much nicer than having to deal with the 100-degree weather. 70 and 80 degrees to that. So you got, being the first meet of the year, you don't want to have a chance of kids going down that aren't quite in shape yet with there. So that part you don't want to see, but no, we got derbies coming in now, so we added another team coming in. So I think we have 8 or 9 teams coming in. So it should be a really good meet. Then we have the hoisting part, so we'll start at 10 o'clock, and then we'll roll through the hoisting part. I think it gets done about 1:30. Then we start the middle school at 2. So from 10 to about 3:30, we're going to be running races out there. So it should be a fun day.
And maybe it's the same thing with your home track meet in the spring. all of a sudden we've got some top-tier programs like Andale, Bishop Carroll. Is that kind of how it works in cross-country? You get third place and more teams sign up?
I think it's more the fact that you hear about your course and how you run meets off and stuff like that. I think that, when you run them off well, like we do because we have so much help at school with our administration and with our maintenance department, it's just so easy to run off meets. I think the word gets around, and then they get to the meet too, and I think it helps too that we've been successful. But hopefully we'll get the meets bigger in track. Now we're having to turn down teams. We're getting to the point where we've had to turn down a few teams last year, so it's exciting.
And maybe one more here, just the kids, maybe especially the newcomers, get to run at home the first time. How big's that for them?
It helps them a ton because you don't have to go walk the course the morning of. You just kind of go, you show up, you warm up, and they know the course. They've run it a few times already, so they get a chance to go out there and just compete. So, and they're after working all summer, and then these first 2 weeks of practice, it's good for them to run against somebody beside their teammates.
Coach Lyles, Lashley, Great Bend Cross Country, thanks for coming in. Good luck this week, and more Sports Day coming up.
Thanks, Mike.
Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins.
Public court of opinion, Johnny Depp won.
Yeah.
The overwhelming amount of females.
Social media was full of happy females yesterday.
A lot of women have seen that bitter ex who was absolutely crazy.
I saw an article, activist, feminist, outraged at Depp decision. Like, well, that's a redundant sentence.
Weekdays, 2 to 4 p.m. right here on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Heard you're buying a car. I brought my calculator.
Dad, I already used Capital One Auto Navigator. I found my car online and got pre-qualified instantly, instead of all that.
You know those things impact your credit score.
Didn't impact my credit score, Dad. Now I'm going to the dealership for a test drive and to make the purchase.
Sounds too easy.
No, it's just easy. Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms and conditions apply. Find out more at CapitalOne.com/Auto Navigator.
From the Mayo Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB, Great Bend, and 95.5 FM K238CK, Hoisington. It's time to head to Tiger Town to talk Fort Hays State Tiger sports with the voice of the Tigers, Gerard Wellbrock, on Sports Day.
Rawr! How you doing, Ger?
Wow, that was impressive.
Well, we brought you back, so great to have you on Sports Day again. This is fantastic to be able to talk Fort Hays State sports with you once again. How are things going into... So if Wyatt Thompson's going into his 21st year, then you're going into your 21st year.
Yeah, funny how that worked out. Yeah, I am. So kind of crazy to believe, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. We're the last 20 years.
We're all getting older.
Well, yeah, it is. But 21st for Gerard Wellbrock. He joins us here on the program today. Okay, let's get at it. Season starts tomorrow night. Why does Fort Hays and Northwest have to play in the first game of the year?
The MIAA, they rotate it, and, they were at the end, and then every 2 years they flip and take the bottom two, and now they're your first two, and that's just the way the cycle went. It'll flip again next year, so they'll move down. I think to week 3 will be the opponent. So it just rotates, and that's just the way it was. It was at the end of the year for so many years, which was really, really cool. Now it's at the beginning, but I guess it gives you a pretty good goal and a good reason to be focused right out of the gate when you know you got the Bearcats for your first game.
What a game last year, and I was talking with Mike Hesher, and he was at that game. I guess that was one against Northwest, that it showed how important field position is, because the Tigers didn't have it last year, that 15-7 loss.
Yeah, it felt like their first, whole half, they were starting inside their 10. If you go back to the playoff, they hosted in 18. That's how that game was. The Tigers got pinned deep every possession. You can't open up your playbook because you got to be careful. You don't want to make a mistake there, and I think that had a big factor in that game. Tigers, I didn't think played great. I'm sure Northwest didn't feel they played great either in that contest, but Fort Hays State still had a chance. That was their story all last season. They were in every game. They go 5-6, all 6 losses by 10 or less, 3 of them by a possession or less. And that's the MIAA. You win the close games, you got a chance to compete for a league championship. and make the playoffs. Washburn won all their close games. They made the playoffs. Fort Hays State lost all their close games. They go 5-6. That's the fine line, and that's obviously going to be the key going into this year. Can they win those type of games? Last 2 times in Maryville, Fort Hays State won a couple of one-pointers. The last 2 years in Hays, you lose in double overtime, and then you lose that game, which basically still came down to the final possession, final play of the game. So that's life in the MIAA, and hopefully this Tiger team has learned a little bit from last year and can be a little bit more equipped to handle those tight game situations.
Well, when Chris Brown says he has an experienced quarterback, I don't think a lot of times you go into the season and have what's been around for 6 years.
I know there's a lot of 6-year guys in the league and on the team. And chances, you could start with a veteran quarterback, and I think he's as good as there is in the league. I mean, you put him up against anybody. He is smart. I mean, from Chris even has said, the very first visit on campus, you could tell this kid knows football. He's a student of the game. He watches film. He understands what the defense is trying to do, what you do to counteract that. I mean, he really, really is. And even though his stat line maybe wasn't as good last year, there were a lot of other factors. And it's, it's like anything else, you're a quarterback. You probably get too much praise when it's going well. You get all the blame when it's going poorly. I remember playing Missouri Western, and he threw 3 interceptions, and none of them were his fault. Receiver runs a wrong route. Receiver, just so a lot of those factors went into last year. I think they've got hopefully those things shored up. But yeah, Chance is a great kid. I think he's a really, really good quarterback. And if you're going to start somewhere, that's a pretty good place to start if you're going to try to get back into your winning ways and what they hope to be competing for a conference championship.
I've got to claim success, and then I've got to admit defeat on some things, because when I remember I was being so excited when Lane Bieberly signed to go to Fort Hays after leading Central Plains to a state championship, because I seeing players like Lance Schwinn way back in the day, and right. I mean, man, he's going to end up contributing. When Miles Menges signed with Fort Hays, I thought, well, okay, that's kind of nice. I guess wonder where he'll end up playing later. I was wrong, Ger. Wow, up there, top 2 tacklers last year on this football team, 6'4", 235, sophomore. Tell me about Miles Menges.
Well, it's going to be interesting. They've moved him to defensive end this year. They had a need. He has the size, but still has that athleticism and quickness. And I think he's still learning that. I mean, he was, and some of it was they had depth at linebacker, so they could afford to move him. So it was kind of a helps everybody out, gets some kids on the field, opens up a spot, because he was phenomenal linebacker. I thought, and Lake Heimerman from Halstead injured his knee little before midway on, and they had to bring John Johnson in from Dodge City as a redshirt freshman, and he just thrived, and just every game got better, and you can see that ability. But yeah, moving Miles to the defensive end, I think he's got a chance to be a really good defensive end because he's got that length. He's tall, good wingspan, good quickness. I think it's just he needs to get more comfortable and just get reps. It's going to take some games, but you can see and they moved him in the spring, so we got all the spring to kind of get used to it, learn the position, and you could see throughout camp he just got better and better and better. And I think he's going to thrive at that position. It was a need for the Tigers, and it kind of helps build a little bit of depth on that defensive line. And they still fall back into a kind of a 3-3 stack look, and then he pops back to the outside linebacker there. So yeah, he's a good one, and hard to believe he is just a sophomore. Before he's done, he's going to have his name and a lot of top 10 lists on the defensive side of the ball.
Another sophomore who's been a perfect fit for Fort Hays State, Larned High product, Mason Perez.
He kind of got thrown into the fire last year, and that probably wasn't fair because of some injuries. And I mean, it's a tough situation, but you could see he held his own and he handled it well. And boy, you can tell the difference. He's physically gotten bigger. I mean, you can tell the year of the off season, the weight room has helped. If he doesn't start tomorrow, he's going to be in the rotation in that secondary. So he's going to play a lot. And I think he made some nice plays in camp. He had a couple of interceptions, and you can see, I mean, he's just going to be one of those players that is going to be steady and solid, and you're just not going to knock him out of the lineup. He's going to help this team, and you can tell the difference. Just another year, and the whole defense is kind of that way. They had some young freshmen and redshirt freshmen excuse me, have to play last year because they had some injuries. And kind of one of those, you go back and you start prepping for the year, you realize how many injuries they had, and that kind of contributed to the season. But now those guys got that experience, and it may have been tough under fire. But now they've come back a second year, and you just see the confidence, and then Mason fits that mold. I mean, he's fun to watch. He plays hard, and he's got all the tools, and he's another kid that's just going to get better and better and better. I think this defensive core, and they're relatively young, before they're done, as they move through the next 2, 3, 4 years, I think that defense got a chance to be really, really good.
Guy on the offensive side of the ball from Hoisington, then Great Bend, Alex Schramer. Talk about his development in this program.
You know, you can tell, again, another guy, another year older, and I mean, he's going to be in that. I mean, they'd like to play about 6 guys. He's going to be in that rotation. You can tell the difference another year has made. I think running crisp routes, and I think that's with every incoming young player in high school. You're bigger, you're fat, whatever. You get to the collegiate level, you've got to be precise, and I think he's figured that out. And because of that, he's become a better receiver. We all know what he can do. His quickness, if he can get it in his hands and get in the open field, he's going to be difficult to bring down. Probably see him returning some punts a little bit. I think he can be really dangerous there. But he's and again, he's another young guy, and I just think he's just going to continue to blossom and grow. But he'll be on the field tomorrow night, and I think he'll have a chance to make some plays. And I mean, I think they feel they got a little more depth at receiver, so they're trying to push everybody, and we're going to go with the hot hand, but he's certainly going to get his opportunity.
Another Great Bend Panther, Dalton Miller, another sophomore that started with his redshirt year. I hope you're okay, Gerard. You got a game in 2 days.
Yeah, I had a cold, and I'm off it. Now I just get these, certain stretches and a little drippage, and so you got to cough. It's annoying. Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
More annoyed than anything.
How's Dalton doing?
He's doing all right. My guess is he'll get on with some special teams work. I mean, I think he's still one of those. His time hasn't come yet, but I think it will. I mean, just seeing him in some of the rotations and reps. So, I mean, hopefully he sticks with it. I mean, everybody, and a lot of it's position-driven, if their depth is or not. But before he's done, he's going to get his shot. And you can tell he's gotten better since last year, and I think he's going to be fine. And that's a good thing. I mean, there's a lot of kids out there. They had 143.
I heard
a lot of them will walk on. But yeah, isn't it crazy? I mean, obviously not all of them are going to make it through. But I mean, I think Dalton, he's one. He's just keep plugging away. His time is going to come. But he might get on there for some special teams work, I think.
143.
I know.
That's incredible.
And what's amazing, I mean, you figure, okay, they're going to lose 10 or 15 of them. Haven't had very many drop off. So that's a cool thing. A lot of people want to be involved in the program. Obviously, there's a lot of walk-ons, but, hey, you never know. You never know. I think that always works itself out, and kids kind of work themselves through, but you never know who in that group might be the surprise. But, yeah, this is as many as I've ever seen out there. I mean, it's crazy.
Gerard Wellbrock, voice of the Fort Hays State Tigers, with us here for a few more minutes. The Tigers go to Maryville, Missouri, and they will take on Northwest Missouri State tomorrow night. So, feelings, that's my favorite question because that's pretty easy. Feelings right now, Ger?
It's interesting. Everybody, like you even kind of brought up, why does Fort Hays have to play Northwest right out of the gate? Might not be a bad time to play them. They lost a lot of firepower on offense. Whole receiving core is going to be new, at least new to playing on Saturdays. One starting offensive lineman back. One other guy who played a little bit, but not a consistent role last year, so the O-line is very new. New running backs. Their number one guy was a backup last year. Got some time. Quarterbacks are veteran. In fact, they're listing their, I say backup. He was a backup when Fort Hays played him. He eventually won the job over the returning another 60-year senior, but I think they both are going to play. So offensively, I think the Bearcats have some question marks going into this one. Defensively, they lost some key dudes. One of them, Sam Roberts, made the Bills' 53-man roster, so congratulations to him. I'm glad you're in Buffalo because he was a stud. But again, and they had a stud before him, so it seems like there's another guy waiting in the wings. But they lost some key names on defense. They're going to be good. They're good every year. That's why they're picked to win the league and why they usually do. But, I mean, I think Fort Hays State's going to going to have an excellent chance. And if one thing over the last 4 years with Fort Hays played Northwest, and we saw it when with Pitt State and they finally got over that hurdle, there's no longer that, man, if this goes right, we got a chance. I think Fort Hays feels if we go in and we play to our ability, we play well, we're going to win the game. So I think that mystique of it's Northwest and sometimes you play those type of programs, you got to convince your kids you're playing this year's team. You're not playing the national championship team from a year ago or 5 years, whatever. But I think Fort Hays feels we're as good as anybody in the league. Now we just got to go out there and do it on the field, and I think that's how they feel going into it. And I will say, they went 5-6, and there's a lot of factors, but there's a different vibe and feel about this team, and it's in a good way. And it feels like some of those teams from years past. What that means, how many games they win, how their season goes, who knows? But you can just tell through the preseason and through camp, there's a whole different feel about this team, and that's exciting.
Okay, you're probably leaving like in 30 minutes, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, sure, why not?
Well, it could snow in the past. No, wait, you go east now. You go east.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I think hopefully it's a little cooler in Northwest Missouri.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Gerard, it's great having you back on Sports Day. We'll do it again next Wednesday, hopefully talking about a Tiger victory and then another game against those stinking Griffins, right?
Yeah, well, that's the pain in the side right there, the Griffins.
Yeah. Gerard, thanks.
Oh, pleasure as always. Good to be back on.
Okay, Gerard Wellbrock. He is the voice of the Fort Hays State Tigers and a regular here on the program. He's only been on for one, but we'll bring you a Fort Hays State Tiger football update each week. It's Sports Day on KVGB. We'll be back to wrap up the show in a moment.
It's bedtime at the home of Sirius XM, but Conan O'Brien is still awake.
Turns out you don't need a car to listen to Sirius XM. You can listen to the app anywhere, in your room, by the pool, at the
And Brad Paisley just really needs his beauty sleep.
Conan, I just really need my beauty sleep. Maybe really expensive boat, like a yacht.
The waves could rock you gently to sleep.
Don't encourage him, guys.
Oh, sorry. Night-night. Everything you want to hear lives here on Sirius XM. Get the Sirius XM app now.
Hey, you want to hear some good news? Venture Corporation is still hiring for laborers, flaggers, equipment operators, CDL A and B drivers, and mechanics. And if you're ready to make some money, call Leslie at Venture. Thought about getting your CDL? Venture will train the right candidate. Higher starting wages, on-the-job training, excellent benefits, and you get paid for traveling throughout the state. Venture Corporation on South Highway 281 in Great Bend is an equal opportunity employer. Venture Corporation, homegrown, family-owned.
Welcome back, Sports Day. Mike Hesher back. You could have talked.
I'm not going to talk over you and Gerard. Those are your two veterans, you know. So,
well, I know you wanted that. What did you want to ask him?
I wanted to. He kind of alluded to it at the very end. You know, you have Northwest Missouri. That's one thing. Obviously, they're one of the best programs in the country. They have struggled with Missouri Western their second game. I went back and looked. They have not beat Missouri Western since like 2017.
And it always seems like because they follow them. Yep. They follow Northwest.
So and maybe that's that letdown you get because, you know, you get up for Northwest, and it's just the MIAA is a brutal league.
Chris Brown is just amazing because it was always for years. I mean, 4 days couldn't beat Pittsburgh State. Then they started to beat them, and then they beat them again, and then they beat them again, and then they beat them again.
And then they finally got Northwest Missouri 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So
not once, but twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, up on there.
Both of them were there. Were they not correct back-to-back?
Yeah, and see, that's the thing that is good because a lot of these kids are the COVID classes. So, you know, Chance Fuller's been there 6 years.
I look at their roster. They got 2 or 3 kids that have hair as long as he does. And if you never seen Chance Fuller, it's down to it's to the middle of his back. They call him Sundance.
Yeah. Well, Tigers tomorrow night taking on Northwest Missouri State. We do not have a show tomorrow.
Royals baseball.
Well, you know, maybe they're making a push. I don't know. I'll have some Royals baseball. We need the deserved day off.
And they always say September baseball doesn't matter, right?
Well, Royals always finish strong
I know.
in September.
That's why they say that.
Well, Nick Prado, guys like that, some of their young bats have been coming up now if that pitching continues to improve. Anyway, 12:30 tomorrow for Royals baseball. Friday, Mike Hesher, Mike Corson, Mike and Mike show on a Friday. Chet Cuplin's going to be hosting or on the program with you, preview all of the Friday night high school football action. You'll be able to find all the area matchups up on GreatBendPost.com as we get set for what I said is the best time of the year. I love fall. For Mike Corson, Mike Hesher,
Steve Webster.
This is Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.